Hi guys, I just recorded another video, you should definitely check it out. It's about Alistair Urquhart's captivity by the Japanese during Second World War, and I am going to talk about suffering in this video, not the type of suffering Alistair Urquhart went through, because that's on a different level and I don't wish that to anyone ever. But the suffering in general that drags through life and that we perceive as like damaging to us, because I think we have a wrong perception of pain and fear and anxiety, because these are symptoms of something not going right in our lives, and that it's basically an indication of us for us to change something. And if you want to live a meaningful life, you have to choose a life of suffering to a certain extent, because pain has the function of teaching us to avoid things that are harmful to our bodies and mind. Just as hunger drives us to eat and lust drives us to have sex, pain keeps us from doing things that could harm us. But this raises a conundrum. If the purpose of pain and fear and sadness is to avoid them, why do we sometimes seek them out actively? Because there's a world of difference between chosen suffering and unchosen suffering. Unchosen suffering, like chronic pain, is in most cases bad for you and can kill you. The richness lies in the chosen suffering. And Alan Watts told this wonderful story. He says, imagine you go to sleep one night and find yourself in a lucid dream. You could dream whatever you want, any kind of joy, pleasure, and experience you want. If you can fantasize about that, you can experience it. And then you wake up the next morning and you can dream whatever you want again. And again, it's a lucid dream. And again, you explore the pleasure of all kinds of excitement. But sooner or later, Watts says, you will get bored with it. What you will do is to get some obstacles out of the way. You're going to set up the possibility of failure within your dream. You're going to set up situations where you fail. Because if you don't fail, then the successes won't mean anything. And soon you'll be living a life of complexity and struggle and pain in your dreams. And then he says that you will live a life that is very similar to the one you are living now. There's a profound insight here, namely that the good things in life only make sense in relation to the bad things. Famous philosopher Kierkegaard said that when everything becomes simpler and simpler in the world, there will only be a lack of shortcomings. And if you win every competition you enter, it's no longer fun. You also have to have the opportunity to lose. If all your experiences are positive, they become no longer positive. You need a negative. And if you were in such good shape that training for a triathlon would be easy for you, it wouldn't mean much to you. If a burglar comes into your house with a gun and orders you to run a marathon, it can be either the worst or one of the best days if you've trained beforehand. It's just a frame you put around the situation, basically. But the difficulty is part of the point, part of what makes it worth it. If it's not hard on some level, if you don't look back on it and cringe a little bit, it's probably not worth it. There was a survey of more than 1 million people that asked, what is your job? And they asked, how meaningful is your job? It was jobs like being an educator, a doctor, or the military, which are associated with struggle and difficulty. So we see a whole spectrum of suffering in our lives that are minor. They hardly deserve the name, like eating spicy food or working a crossword puzzle. No reward, nothing. You just do it because it's exhausting. Our idea of what is a meaningful experience or a meaningful goal or a meaningful life requires a certain amount of suffering. Suffering could be physical pain, it could be a difficulty, it could be a preoccupation. It could be the possibility of failure. But without that, the experience is not meaningful. We need pain and suffering to live a rich and happy life. Just see the Lord of the Rings. constant talk about how grateful they will be when it's all done. A lot of meaningful things happen during the journey and its hardships, and then they reach the goal and they're happy about it. Even more happy if just everything went right, then it's not a story worth remembering or telling, basically. So yeah, this just like puts a different perspective on the things you're going through right now. And again, it's about chosen suffering, okay? That you are willingly doing and putting onto your life, because we grow the most by going through challenges and challenging our mental and physical capabilities. That's the only way to actually grow as a human being, and I believe the ultimate form of self-care is holding yourself to the highest standards possible. Yeah, I think that's what's most fulfilling actually to us in this world where nothing seems worthwhile, really. I've done a lot of videos about this as well, so check them out. And as always, thank you guys for watching.